Now, various fish, corals, plants, invertebrates, and so forth are very hard to keep. So it's a very good idea when you're purchasing an animal to understand how easy or hard is it likely to be to keep. So here in Majestic Aquariums, we rate our corals and fish, for example, as a number 1, meaning that it's easy to keep. And in general, if a number 1 coral or fish dies, we can normally find the reason why it died, and then we're very confident that if you address that reason, next time it won't die. And number 2 means that for varying reasons, it may just die, and we may not be able to tell you why it died, but it died because some are just harder to keep than others. On the other hand, there's also what we call number 3 fish, or number 3 coral, and they're things that are just hard to keep. So there may be reasons that you can address, and you may have reason to want to keep a number 3. You may have done some research and believe you know why they are hard to keep, and you may be able to address that particular reason, and therefore you may want to try the challenge of a number 3. But it is really important to understand when you buy your animals what the number or how easy or hard the animal is to keep, to manage your own expectations. Now, what you don't want to do is celebrate too early. It's very common that someone will buy a number 2 or even a number 3 animal, and for a period of months it does very well. They then gain the opinion that they've mastered it, and they think that it's all sorted, and they tend to get very, very disappointed when something ends up happening to that particular animal, because they may have become very fond of it, and they may have been very proud of themselves for being able to successfully keep it for whatever period of time they've been able to keep it. But despite your expectations or your opinion of how your animal has gone, that doesn't necessarily change the fact that it probably is still very hard to keep. And then when something actually happens to it, then something may have happened to it as the reason as potentially why they're hard to keep. So at the end of the day, you just need to be aware that some animals are easy to keep and some animals are very hard to keep. And it's very important to manage your disappointment if you get an animal that we tell you is hard to keep and you have an amount of success for a while, could be months, could be years. Then when you lose it, you may have lost it because it was hard to keep in the first place. Anyway, give us your opinion on this particular subject. What animals have you had great success with that everyone said that would not work? And what tips have you got in that particular arena?